What's up, YouTube? This is Paul from Mickey Tech Tips, and today we're going to be talking about how I overpaid for that Dell Venue 11 Pro that I got about a year and a half ago. Yeah, it was about a year and a half ago. So we're going to be talking about why you should do your research before um, buying electronics, because if not, you might be stuck with a lemon. Or it may not be a lemon, but you might have just paid too much for it. So I guess let's get started. Okay, so the reason why I want to talk about this is because recently Dell called me. It was about a couple months ago. Let's see, about in January. So it's about, by the time you're seeing this, about 5 months ago, asking, do I want to pay $90 for a warranty on this Dell Venue 11 Pro? And I said no. And the reason why is because it's not worth it, considering that if something breaks, I most than likely can replace it for the same price, if not cheaper than myself, than paying for a $90 warranty that you may not ever use. So I did that, and it also kept me curious, thinking, do they even sell the Dell Venue 11 Pro still? So I went on Dell's website, Dell.com, looked for the Dell Venue 11 Pro. It's still about the same price, about, I think it came in like $800 still. Now it's for the 128 gigabyte version with the Core M, what was it? It'd be Core M Broadwell processor, because now the new Skylake Core M series have the Core M3, the Core M5, and the Core M7. In the Broadwell generation, which would be the 5th generation processors, not the 6th, which is Skylake's 6. The 5th generation, they only had one Core M, and then they had just different variants with like different frequencies. And so it made me think. Um, I wonder how much I could competitively price the Dell Venue 11 Pro against a laptop. So I went through, played around with it, found a couple XPSs on there, and maybe even some high-end Inspirons, and was competitively pricing them because they had ones that had like i5s and whatnot. And if I decided just go for another brand, um, I could find other brands of laptops that have like i7s, which are though from good brands too. Like there's just different ones out there, like Razer with the new Blade Stealth and stuff, which the new Razer Blade Stealth comes out like at the base model's $1,000, but it's got an i7 in it, which is a mobile chip, but still better than the Core M. But I was looking at that, looked at Dell's for maybe like an i5 or maybe even i3, because it'd be better than this Core M processor. And so I competitively priced them and was finding better deals on i3s, i5s, and i7s from different manufacturers. Most notably, I found an i5 on Dell's website for about the same price as this 2-in-1. And like the problem with that 2-in-1 was I bought it along with the $120 keyboard, a $70 tablet case, so I had a ruggedized tablet, so I have some protection if I take the keyboard off. And yeah, and that was about it for the accessories on it. So it came out, by the time with that, even with some discounts that I had, still came out around $1,000. So I looked at it and thought, you know what, this is still kind of expensive. And I think even now you can go buy an Apple MacBook Air for around the same price and get like an i3 or an i5, or even the new Apple MacBook that has similar specs for a little bit more, but you get 256 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM compared to this PC's 4 gigabytes of RAM. So I thought that's just kind of expensive. And I do want to say this. The reason why I was looking through it is because I was going to make a gaming on the Dell Venue 11 Pro game. And overall, you can play stuff maybe like Minecraft if you turn down the settings drastically, or just download the Minecraft for Windows 10 because it's free as long as you own a PC copy. But then you don't get some of the features the PC has compared to the Windows 10 app, which is basically the Windows 10 app's just like the mobile game, but except it has some increased functionality, but not as much as the PC one. So there was that. I played League and I played Dota, which both put in acceptable frame rates. In Minecraft, as I said, if you turned it down, you could get some too. But there was some other games that I tried, and I even tried some live streaming, and it just wasn't that impressive. And so I thought, you know what, let's do some video editing and stuff. And like I even tried that, even with the turbo boost, boosting it up all the way to 1.5 gigahertz, and I think at the most I was hitting 1.9. But then I was hitting thermal issues because this thing doesn't have any fans, so it would thermal throttle back to 1.5, and I just had big hiccups, and that's because it just would warm up and thermal throttle back so it doesn't fry the chip. And so after I want to say about 6 months of using it, because I've had this thing for about a year and a half now, when I got around to buying an SSD for my Dell Inspiron 15R, which I've had for about 5 years, I wanted to stick an SSD in it and started using it as my daily driver as a computer again because it had a higher clock speed um, computer processor. Even though in some applications that Dell Venue 11 Pro worked better than the old Inspiron 15R from 2010, I found out that I'd rather use that and have a higher clock speed because then I can do some more effective stuff. Of course, the integrated graphics isn't as great, but I'm not hitting thermal throttling and I have constant performance because it has fans and stuff, so it's going to give me a constant performance. So I use that as my daily driver, but there are times when I need more graphics intensive stuff or I need stuff that supports at least DirectX 11 because the old Dell Inspiron 15R from 2010, the stock graphics chip on the integrated GPU only goes up to 10, so which was a bummer because 11 came out like a year or two after, so I was kind of disappointed on that. But anyway, and so as I was saying, so sometimes I do have to use that Venue 11 Pro just for some of the more graphics intensive tasks that use like DirectX 11. I'm not mentioning 12 because 12 there's nothing out there even though it supports it. So, but it does deliver some performance and it works great if you're doing like a business application or using it for like just casual surfing on the web as a tablet. But honestly, I would not spend the extra money for the Dell Venue 11 Pro. So do your research because you could probably get something with at least an I series instead of an M series instead. Of course, you may not have the tablet functionality, but as of right now, Windows tablets are great, but it's still kind of limited, and you might be paying out of a hefty premium, which I kind of would recommend the Surface tablets just because they do have ones that have an i series CPU like an i3 and i5, and I think they even have an i7 one. So I recommend those over like a Core M processor tablet, and I think even they also have. I think even on Surfaces they do have the M3 and M5 and I think maybe M7. I don't know for sure, but so I kind of do recommend the new Surface Pro tablets just because they have the different processors. But you're probably better off buying a full laptop or an Ultrabook where you can fold the keyboard back and use it as a tablet, rather than just buying a Windows tablet and being stuck with some features because they'll pack too tightly. So do your research before you buy something. But if you're wanting a Windows tablet that's great for just surfing the web, then go ahead and buy it. Buy it, but make sure you find a reasonably priced one. And you could probably cut back on the memory and get probably a 64 gigabyte. I think for like $600. I honestly don't know, but it's been a while since I've looked at just competitively pricing Windows tablets. So yeah, I do have to say this though, it is a Windows tablet slash 2-in-1, like this Dell Venue 11 Pro behind me, which is sitting right there. Um, it does have features like it has full Windows, and so it does come in handy because then you can do stuff like AutoCAD and whatnot. Because I've played around with some of the played around with AutoCAD for iPad, and you really need a Windows computer to do it. So some of the software is getting competitively used with a touchscreen now, just so they can compete for the iPad Pro. So iPad Pro is still pretty limited, but if you need a tablet that runs full-fledged Windows, then getting a Windows tablet's the way to go. But just do your research before you buy a computer because you might just be stuck with something that just a little bit overpriced. But you know what? I don't have to worry about it too much anymore because even though I'll still keep it around for my secondary computer, my main computer will not be a an Inspiron 15R anymore. It'll be a custom built PC come July. So I'll be able to use that and not have to use the Venue 11 Pro for my graphics intensive tasks anymore. The only time I have to use it's when I'm out and about. So it'll still be a secondary PC because it's not that old, but I don't have to use it as much as I even do now. So yeah, just do your research. I've also overpaid for that BlackBerry tablet I had when I was 13, so it'd be about 4 to 5 years ago. It'd be about 4 years ago that I had it, and then got rid of it about a year later, just because it was a lemon. But at least on the Windows one, you can run full Windows. I'm just saying this wasn't a lemon; it just a little overpriced. But you can also be stuck with a lemon too if you don't do your research. So yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys next time.